Just as everybody's coming into the room, we're going to do a bit of housekeeping before we get underway, and particularly for those of you who are guests or who are joining us here for the first time. I hope this clicker is going to...
It's about technology. Technology man's learning.
No luck at all. I'm clicking harder, thanks Dave.
I was going to say, the next suggestion is going to be switch it off and switch it back on.
No? Yes.
Yay.
Yay! Okay, so just before we get started with the AGM, just a bit of housekeeping here. Please do sign in as you come into the room. The AGM isn't going to sell out this room, so if you want to come a little bit further towards us, you are most welcome. We are going to be counting votes that, particularly if you're a member and you're voting, please do come and try and sit somewhere near the stage. And we also have online participants joining us. So my colleague Kerry, our COO, is going to be counting votes online. But we are looking for 2 tellers. Now, this is a long-established tradition at the old AGM, and I think I might be seeing some familiar suspects. We require 2 volunteers, please, to come up here to the front row to act as tellers. So do we have any volunteers in the audience? I'm not going to look at anybody in particular, but if there are any volunteers, please do raise your hand and see if you have a couple of people who might come. So, Pete, I think you volunteered. Yeah, Deborah, you volunteered. Thank you so much. One of our partner CEO. Thank you very much, Deborah. We need one more volunteer to act as a teller. So, please. Helen just volunteered, although she doesn't even realize it yet. We are still looking for 1 teller to come. Jane, you will be a teller. Thank you very much. So those 2 will help us count the votes when we get to our resolutions. Now, if you are a member who holds 2 memberships, one for your organization and one for individuals, then you get to vote twice. So please use both hands, or if you're unable to do that, please let us know verbally and we will count your vote twice. So we're also going to let you know who is eligible to vote before we get underway.
Where's Martin Hawksley?
I know. The clicker isn't giving me any joy at all today. So I know. Yeah, we do need the next slide. Let's get that fixed before we get underway. I don't think we are doing anything wrong.
No, I didn't think you were, but I just wondered if the battery's good. No, don't give it to me.
You don't want it either. So, please do find a seat. We are going to get underway shortly. Here's who's eligible to vote. Firstly, all members who hold a current individual or organizational membership. And also all of our honorary life members and certified members in the room. And I'm very delighted that there are quite a few honorary life members here in the room. So thank you very much for joining us for this special AGM. Members who hold a membership in their own right and also represent an organization. Again, I know there's quite a few of you here. You get to vote twice, either with both hands or you can give your second vote verbally. Associate members don't vote individually, they are represented via their organization. And you can see our finance manager, Jane, walking around with sign-in sheets. Please make sure you sign in. We're well over the number of members we need to be quorate, but we do need you to all sign in, even if you are a guest. So, James, we were looking for tellers earlier. Where were you to volunteer here? Actually, if you don't mind, we would love to have you. Then it will be you and Deborah Green to be tellers. I thought we could volunteer him. Excellent. So, I think that's all the admin done. Helen, I'm going to hand over to you.
Thank you very much. So, I always love being handed a microphone, but it was actually on my seat. So, anyway, lovely to see you all here. This is our annual general meeting, and for those of you that don't know me, I'm Helen O'Sullivan. I have the absolute pleasure and privilege of being chair of the Board of Trustees for ALTS. And in my day job, I am the Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Provost at the University of Chester. We've got the slides in front of us, and I'm just totally bemused by that photo because it's quite old now, and I look quite a lot older than that now. Anyway, so what we'll be doing today is going through a very structured order of business. And as you will imagine, we'll be taking votes, and we'll be keeping things, to that process. And it's a special AGM because at the end of this AGM, we're going to do something that we perhaps hasn't been done before. We're going to literally hand over the chief executive role from our outgoing CEO, Maren Deepwell, to our incoming CEO, Billy Smith. So that will be something at the very end, which will be a bit unusual, and we'll just see how that goes, because that's the only bit we haven't practiced. So the first thing we need to do is to approve the minutes of the last annual general meeting. So those minutes are available online, and members will have been able to have a look at that and make sure that they're happy with it. From our point of view, there are no matters arising, but I'm very happy to take any questions, or if any members feel that there are matters arising that they would like to raise, then they are very welcome to do so. So I will just give us a couple of minutes to see if anybody wants to do that, either in the room or online. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. In which case, then, we will approve those. We have to propose that we have to have a vote on that, do we?
We just have a proposal.
Okay.
We can propose it from the chair.
Okay, so I will propose the approval of the minutes of the last AGM, and I need a seconder to that. Natalie, thank you very much. Oh, that's yeah. So Natalie Afty from Dundee. Okay, that's that, isn't it? So on to is that right? Yeah, on to the annual reports. Okay, so we're now moving on to the annual reports for the accounts. Now, Shona Douglas, who's our honorary treasurer, isn't able to be with us in person, but as you might expect, by the power of technology, we're able to beam her into the room, aren't we?
Well, let's hope. See how it goes. Oh, no sound. Okay.
Oh.
Hello, I am Shona Douglas, and I am the Honorary Treasurer of ALT. Today I am going to share with you a quick review of ALT's financial performance for the financial year ending 31st of January 2023. So I think we'll start with what I think has been a real success for ALT in this period, which is the significant increase in the revenue during the year. And you'll notice from that graph that that has returned us to pre-pandemic levels, which is really fantastic and a real testament, I think, to the team at ALT. This has been largely driven, I think, by the return to in-person events, and I know many of you are enjoying one of those just now at the annual conference. So we hope to see those continue to develop and grow into the next year. However, I am sure that most of you will be aware that ALT, like everyone else, has faced challenges in this year, particularly around about high inflation and rising costs. I think the management team have taken really positive action to manage those costs and continue to do so. And the result of that has been an overall small deficit of just under £4,000. I know that's being continuously monitored by the team, and I am confident we will see that recovery going forward. Over the last 2 years, we have had an independent examination of the accounts. In line with the board decision, it was a full audit that was undertaken in this financial year. I'm really pleased to report the outcome of that has been a clean audit report with no major issues being identified. To finish, I would like to express my thanks to all the team at ALT for their commitment during the year. Special thanks, I think, has to go to Jane, who puts a huge amount of effort into the preparation of the financial statements and in terms of the work involved for the audit. Thank you, Jane. My final thank you this year has to go to Maren. Your organisation, your leadership has really been second to none, and it's been a real pleasure working with you, particularly on the financial side, over the last couple of years. If anyone would like any further information or to see the full accounts, the link there is on the slide if you would like to scan it. Thank you.
So, obviously Shona's not in the room to answer any questions, but she has briefed Maren and me, well, mostly Maren, it has to be said. So if anybody's got any questions about the financial report, please feel free to ask the question. No. Have we got anything online? No. Okay, I mean, it is a straightforward financial position, so, and it's, you know, the audit hasn't brought up any issues, so, you know, it should be fine, I think, for most people. Good, okay, so what we need to do then is, I will propose that we accept these accounts, approve the accounts, I beg your pardon, so I need a seconder for that. Thank you very much. Bella? Do you need to write that down, Billy? Don't you need to write that down?
Yeah, Bella.
Bella Abrams, University of Sheffield. And then what we need to do is vote on approving these. So what we need, first of all, votes for.
Mm-hmm. So if you could put up your hand if you vote for, and then wait until we've counted all the votes. And if you are joining us online, please vote now via the online form. We have already received your proxy votes. Please do hold your hands up, and we will make sure we also count the online votes. So if you're joining us online, we will keep the form open throughout the whole AGM. So please do cast your vote now on the first resolution. And if you're voting for an organisation and yourself, please hold both of your hands up if you are able, or let us know verbally. That's okay? Please do.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, they're all 50. Yeah, so 54.
Okay, so that's 4. So do we have any against?
Raising really high.
And finally, any abstentions?
Just me.
Just one.
Okay, thank you very much. So, I suspect that means the accounts were approved.
Yes.
That's great. Thank you all very much indeed for that. So, the next resolution that we have to act on is the appointment of our auditors. So, we're going to ask you to vote on the reappointment of our auditors, David Cadwallader and Co. And so I will propose this from the chair, and I would like a seconder, please. Peter Bryant.
Peter Bryant, yeah.
You need to write that down. Okay, so I now need you to vote on that resolution, please. So votes for. I should vote, shouldn't I? Yeah.
We can't vote on the accounts because that would be weird. So again, if you are voting online, please do cast your vote now. And if you're voting in the auditorium, please try and keep your hand up as long as possible. And let our tellers do their work. And at the end of this vote, Kerry will be closing the form when you give us a sign. And then if you could read us out the online voting results as well, that would be great. It's a bit like the European Song Contest.
47.
47. So that's 47 votes for.
Okay, votes against? And any abstentions? Okay.
All right.
Again, we've passed that resolution then. Thank you very much.
Kerry, could you come over with the mic if you could just read out the online votes for us now? This is a bit like the Eurovision Song Contest.
Everyone will be delighted to know I'm not going to sing. We have, for Resolution 1, 5 responses, all for. And then for Resolution 2, again, we have 5 responses, again, all for.
Thank you, Kerry. So that's 5 votes for each of the resolutions in addition to that. And that concludes the voting for today.
Thank you very much. So the next item then is board updates and trustees' appointments and thanks. So I just want to spend a couple of minutes sharing with you the results of our board effectiveness review. So every year as a board we review our own effectiveness, modelling reflective practice that we expect from colleagues. So we look at a series of key areas, and this board effectiveness process has been modified from the Charity Commission a couple of years ago, but we put our own slant on it. And so this year, again, the results are very, very high, and a number, it's a Likert scale, a typical sort of thing, and a number of the areas score 5, which means that everybody that filled it in has given it the highest score. So I think that's a really good reflection on the way that the board operates. There was a high proportion of the board filled it in, which again I think is a really good indication of how engaged the board is. And personally, I've got nothing but praise for the board. Everybody is doing this as a voluntary job on top of a very, very busy day job, and they're bringing their expertise and their time and their commitment and their strategic vision and their understanding of the sector to the board, and enabling ALTS and the community to be more effective, which is what we're all interested in. So I think at this point I'd like to, just give my personal thanks to all the members of the board, many of whom are sitting here in the audience, and just say how much I appreciate the work that you do and how much you help me in my job as chair to make that really effective. So thank you very much indeed. So. Just on the trustees, we haven't had any elections for the board this year. Elizabeth Charles, who isn't able to be with us today, is stepping down. Is she joining us online? Oh, no, I was going to wave to her and the camera. So I really want to thank Elizabeth for all the work that she's done over the last few years, 6 years. And just to note, although we don't need to formally approve this, that Peter Bryant, we've appointed him for an additional year. So he came to the end of his term as an elected trustee, and we've put him as an appointed trustee during the transition period because of his, obvious contribution and knowledge and expertise. So the other thing that I just want to do while we're talking about the trustees is is thank the Assembly members. And we have some outgoing Assembly members, and I think some of them might even be in the room, are they?
I think so. I can definitely spot one of them.
So, thank you, Teresa. So, have we got any others in the room? They're probably not going to want to stand up now, are they? But so, thank you so much to those who are stepping away from that role. And as you all know, ALT is for its members, and therefore the Assembly is a really critical part of that. So thank you all very much. Thanks to everybody on that slide, who I'm not going to go through. But we really appreciate everything that you've done for ALT, and will no doubt continue to be involved. Oh yeah, let's do a big round up. So, at this stage, the formal business of the AGM is complete. And we have, as I say, we have a few other items. And the first thing is the handover of the CEO role. So this is where things get a bit weird. Bear with me. So, as I'm sure everybody knows, this year we have appointed a new CEO, Billy Smith, and we'll be saying goodbye to our old CEO, Maren Deepwell. And you'll all get a chance to get to know Billy well. He's doing a question and answer session, Ask Me Anything, which I think is very brave, tomorrow, where you can ask him anything. If you talk to me afterwards, I can give you a few things to ask him, which I think will make it interesting. And he's also coming to the first Assembly meeting after this meeting, so you'll be able to get to know him a bit there. But I think, Billy, you're very welcome, and we've been fantastically lucky to get you. But unashamedly, this is going to be about Maren, this next bit. And when Maren first told me she was going to step down, my first response was, oh. And then then we started the process, and I was very clear, and I said to everybody involved, we're not going to call this process a process to replace Maren. We're going to call it a process to appoint our next chief executive to take us on our next stage of a journey. And the reason that I wanted it to be cast like that is because you cannot replace the irreplaceable. And I didn't want us to put ourselves in the invidious position of trying to find a new Maren, because I'm sure there isn't one out there. Now, Billy, when he's been doing the job for 10 years, will also be irreplaceable. But I just wanted to say a little bit about Maren. Everybody knows Maren. She is really well known in the sector. She's a thought leader. She's so well respected for the work that she's done around all aspects of learning technology, particularly around equality, diversity, inclusivity, for women in educational technology, for work outside the higher education sector, for broadening ALTS and its reach, and for its commercial acumen as well. The business model and the business, obviously all organisations like ALT took a big dip in the pandemic, and she's brought the finances back to where they were and a bit better than that before the pandemic. So I think on a whole range of fronts, Maren has been a fantastic CEO for ALT. From my personal perspective as chair of the board, I think working with Maren is just such a joy. She's so I was talking to Rajay before about, I wish there was a better word than professional, because it just doesn't quite do her justice as being one of the most professional people I've ever worked with, most competent. All these words, they don't do enough justice to how fantastic it has been working with Maren. And we've had a couple of cards sent round. So Kerry sent one round to the members, and I sent one round to the trustees. So I thought I'd just read out a couple of the things that had been said about Maren, so it's not just me wittering on. I picked a couple out now, and I can't remember where they are now. Oh, that was one. Maren, thank you for your inspirational leadership, for showing us how to really put values into action, and for making time to chat, even for the smallest, daftest question. Good luck for your new adventure. Thank you for your vision, energy, integrity in leading developments in learning technology, often through challenging times. Your work has been incredibly influential through the sector. Wishing you all the very best of times as you start your new adventure. And there was just one more. I can't find it now. Let's find another one.
There are so many.
There are, but some of them are very personal, so I didn't want to embarrass people by reading them out. Thank you so much for your role as ALT CEO. From all things EdTech to your inspirational leadership, you've taught me so much. A huge thank you. And there's pages and pages of that. And then from the trustees, which I've now lost. But anyway, you can imagine what the trustees were saying. Oh, it's there. It is there, isn't it? I was so well organised. I should say, Maren, I will PDF these and send them to you afterwards. You haven't got to remember all this. Thank you, Maren, for leading us so well and for your vision and clarity of thinking in the face of unprecedented challenges over the past few years. Excited for you and your new ventures and wishing you much success. It's been an absolute pleasure and privilege to work with you over the last 4 years, Maren. I've valued your patience, overall approach and leadership, and I've learned so much from my involvement with you. I wish you every success in the future. So that's just a little bit. As I say, I could go on because there's pages and pages of it, but I wanted to pick out a few that really talked about Maren's inspirational leadership and her passion for the ALT community. So we have got a little note of appreciation from the ALT community.
Ironically, the same notebooks that you bought entirely independently.
Well, yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Do you want me to say anything?
You can do, yeah. So before we have the iconic handover, I'd just like to invite Maren to say a few words.
Oh, well, I'm a little overwhelmed, and I'm sure, like all of you, I feel this is a big occasion. My predecessor is sitting in the audience here, and I remember so clearly in 2012 when Seb and I had the conversation about me becoming a CEO, and I was very young to become a CEO and a woman. And at that time, when I went for my first Westminster briefing with Matt Hancock, the minister at the time, and I met Brian Mothers, and I thought, oh my God, there's another man with a laptop with stickers on. I'm sure we'll be friends. And now, 11 years later, I look around this auditorium and it's full of the testament of the collaborations which have made my term as CEO so special. I want to say a big thank you to my team, to Emma, to Emily, to Fiona, who can't be with us, and also to Jane and to Katie and to Kerry, and now to Billy, who is going to lead the team in a new chapter. My stewardship of ALT has all been about collaboration, and it's you who've made it so special. So, thank you.
Thanks, Mara. Okay, so without further ado, Maren, you have the emotional task of handing over to Billy. And we thought we'd just get them to we did actually have a long chat about if they could hand something over, symbolic, but we couldn't come up with anything, so we think a handshake will do. Right, okay. On with the show.
Well, I think Billy, you...
Yeah, so now, yeah. So.
Okay. Hello? Right, okay. So it's time for our CMALT ceremony, and this is an opportunity to celebrate everybody who has been through the CMALT process. What I would say is that it's been a few years now since we have had any in-person recognition of the CMALT qualification, and I think it's a badge of honour for many of our members in this room, and a privilege to hold that accreditation, and also testament to Maren and the members community and staff team for making it such a success. There are lots of opportunities that we will talk about in terms of Seymour and how we take it to the next level. But now is all a chance for reflection and celebration. So we are going to celebrate everybody that has been awarded their CMALT accreditation, and we have some badges to hand out to you, which I know are long awaited by many people. So where are they? Do we have a list of names? Do we have a list of names? So, if you'd like to come and stand up here with me, we can get a group photo and get you your badges. So anybody that has passed their CMALT qualification recently, please come up to the stage, lots of you.
I feel like we need a fanfare or something, don't we? Do.
I thought you were doing this bit.
Maybe some people near the front or something.
I'll go on the other way.
Take a big round of applause.
If you could make a nice orderly queue, Helen will be here to give you your badges. Oh, I'm doing it, okay.
Or have you got more bits to do?
Excellent. I thought Marion was doing this bit, so I thought I was just doing the impact report. We'll have a big round of applause at the end. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of unhappy IT managers that are very anti-stickers on laptop screens, so there are lots of stickers to add to your laptops. Excellent. Well done, everyone. Can we have a big round of applause for everyone? Okay, so I don't know if you guessed, but I wasn't quite prepared for that. I thought Maren was going to celebrate everybody's achievements, so thanks, Maren. I'm just here to share with you the impact report from this year. So again, it doesn't quite feel right to stand here and take any accolades or any recognition whatsoever for what's been achieved over the last 12 months. And it's a huge privilege to stand here and to acknowledge what you have achieved, which some has been highlighted already in the AGM, such as the financial stability of the organisation, as well as the opportunities that you've created for us. And I would just like to say a big, big thank you to Maren. She has been amazing. Every time I talk about Maren, it's followed by amazing. And she has been, in some ways, a really good mentor to me over the last couple of weeks and months, so thank you very much. What I'd like to do, the impact report is available on our website, and I will share a link with you in a moment. But before you go peeking and looking on your devices, I think this is a nice opportunity for all of us to reflect on the achievements of the year. And so we've put together a short video just to acknowledge those, and this is mostly some of the artwork that has been produced over the last years that Maren has been CEO. And so some of the images that you see within the video before you are probably quite familiar from previous conferences, and we look forward to 2050 all being in our dome-based drones flying around the community of ALT. So without further ado, here's a short video, which I hope you will all enjoy.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this impact report. It's a fantastic opportunity for me to thank all the members of ALT for all that you do and for being part of the community. And I hope you enjoy reading this report and seeing all the fantastic things that ALT has achieved over the last year. It's a really important year this year because it marks our 30th anniversary, and so I hope you enjoy thinking back about what we've been doing, changing things for the better for 30 years, and I look forward to seeing what the future and the next 30 years will bring to us all.